Hey you! Thank you so much for tuning in for today's episode of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. I'm your host, SlowpokeFelitos, bringing you guys what you guys have asked for, what you guys have demanded for. Here we are, season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show is finally here. And what a way to kick the forbidden door open than with the one, the only RagefulRiot. This gentleman right here is setting a good example on what it takes to being a risk taker when it comes to switching from one platform, a streaming platform, to the next. This man has chosen to switch from Twitch over to Trovo, and along the way, he has plenty of stories to share on what it takes from going from a 700 follower tier all the way down to 200 and something followers at this time of the recording. And also, along with this, he has stories to share about when he caught COVID, plenty of wonderful stories to share with the significant other, and plenty of more stories that will have your jaw drop when it comes to people coming into his chat and berating him in the middle of a stream. But I don't want to give away any more spoilers before we continue with this, guys. I would love it if you guys would like to share the video, like the video, comment on the video, subscribe, do whatever it takes it can to support the House of Slowpokes. It keeps the lights on here, and we would love to bring you more episodes and more content. You guys have asked for this, you guys have demanded for this, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to bring you this sort of content, to bring you these stories, and whether they make me cry, they make me laugh, and make you guys just enjoy everything that comes with this whole casting of season 3. It is such a wonderful experience. What a ride, and we are just getting started. So guys, without any further ado, the wonderful RagefulRiot RagefulRiot here finally on season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Let's go! What a way to kick off season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show with the one, the only RagefulRiot. Rage, welcome into the show. Welcome to the House of Slowpokes. We have finally made it for you to come by here in the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. How the heck are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. I am happy to be here, honestly. I was like, when's it going to happen? I want to be on it.
You're all giddy right there back in the corner like, come on, me next, please, please, please. And then season 2 came out. And season 3 came out. You're like, yay. Well, it is final. I'm finally glad to have you here only because your story to me, Rage, has been very important from the get-go, from the times that I've been following you, and then vice versa. We've been kind of like, almost starting at the same time in a sense, where almost looking into the further where like, what kind of growth are we going to want during our Twitch career? But mind you, you took a detour into another lane, and that detour lane went over to another platform named Trovo. Now, before we begin with that, with the journey of when you started from Twitch over to Trovo, give the people what they want. You, Rage. Who are you, and where do you currently stream at, and what social media platforms we can find you at?
I am RagefulRiot. I am pretty much a variety horror streamer, although there's going to be some, new stuff being added that, kind of teased on Twitter because I may or may not like a game now that I used to hate.
I'd love to get into that.
And I am streaming on Trovo, and actually toying with the idea of making it pretty much all Trovo, with occasional Twitch here and there, because I still gotta show love to those on Twitch.
That is correct, yeah.
And then of course you can find me over on Instagram, TikTok, which I need to do better with my TikToks. I just post clips, Twitter, and I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but Xband as well.
No, what is that, by the way?
Xband is basically like a Instagram / Twitter for gamers and streamers.
So it's almost like in the sense of like Hover.
Kind of. So Hover's kind of like the TikTok of streamers, which I'm also over there as well. On Hover. Nice. I'm everywhere.
Yeah,
it's good. Everywhere.
What better way to see you branch out into all social media platforms? And then, hey, you might never know. You might have you on Facebook or MySpace nowadays. MySpace is making a comeback now.
That's true. I mean, I do have a Facebook gaming profile, so there's that as well. Okay. And of course, starting to work on my YouTube more. So.
Oh, and speaking of which, YouTube, I got something coming up right here on the clip above where YouTube has been sort of like, you've been kind of stepping your foot in, like your toes in the water in a sense, because the editing of that first video that you put out there many months ago, or a few months ago actually from the time this recording, is nothing but phenomenal. How long does this editing, like sound effect bits and like cutting and splicing, and take for you to actually put all that together, man?
Okay, so that particular video was actually done by somebody else.
Gotcha.
So now the most recent YouTube video I posted and the one prior to that. So Blood Hunt and Midnight Ghost Hunt were actually ones I edited myself. Otherwise, I have actually Payday Gaming is another person who he's another streamer. He's the one who's edited my stuff to kind of get. He's like, hey, I'll help edit your videos if you help expose my Twitch and help me with my streaming site since I got YouTube established.
Very good.
We have that arrangement.
was that actually kind of hard or really easy to put together? You're like, that's almost like a compromise. Like sometimes people actually do have that sense of like, you know what, I'm not willing to share my platform with someone else, like to boost their I know their profile and whatnot, because it sort of sometimes does happen when it comes to other streamers where like, hey, if you're up here, I'm not messing you. If you're like a lower tier, I'm not gonna step down to bring you up on my level. You're gonna have to work your way up. Does that ever occur to you at times?
No, never. I'm always trying to help other people out with getting their name out there, helping them grow. In fact, that's like a large part of what my Discord is as well.
Okay.
Is whenever someone comes in there to stream, I'm like, hey, drop your link. Let me know what your goals are. If you're trying to hit like affiliate or like on Trovo on one of the levels, let me know and we'll help push people your way because we have people that like to help support other people. So
and that's great because now those people that you're willing to help out, you're kind of needing their help too, gravitating from Twitch over to Trovo. Real quick on that part, how much of a big decision was it to take that leap of, you know what, I've built this platform. I believe on Twitch you happen to have at least almost 700 followers, if I'm not mistaken, at this time of the recording. But you're moving all, like, it's going to be kind of hard to move all 700 plus members of of your community there over to Trovo. Has it made it kind of easy or kind of difficult gradually over time for you?
It's been kind of in the middle. In the beginning, I was shocked with how slow people started coming over at first. I was expecting a few more people to come over because the people who came first, were regulars. I was expecting them to be a little bit quicker to come over. But as time progressed, and I think they've realized that I'm spending more time over there,
right?
More people have started to come over, and it was definitely something where it took me. It wasn't an easy, simple, like, all right, I'm going to try this over here. It really started out as, hey, this site looks cool. I'm going to try it maybe once a week. And then I started weighing my options like, hey, Twitch is great. I like Twitch. But this platform has a lot of opportunity. It's newer. It's still growing. The growth is still happening. So I was like, hey, I could try to put my foot in the door here and attempt to actually grow with the platform versus being on a platform that's well established. There's a lot of established streamers and some of the different games and categories out there. It's already pretty well stacked. Of hey, you've got like Nick Merckx with most of the battle royale games. Where if I stream at the same time as him, he's got 60,000 people watching him.
Right.
And then the people below him, there's a lot of people that aren't a lot of that's pooled towards the very top of Twitch. So with Trovo, I did notice that there's a lot more opportunity for some of the games because not as many people are over there, so there's less saturation on each of the categories, including the battle royales.
No, and that's correct. With Twitch being oversaturated with a bunch of thousands of established people, you kicking the foot in the door of moving over to Trovo, which is probably like maybe 2-3 years old, apparently, right? It's relatively new.
It's like just now hitting about 2 years old. Well, I'd imagine they haven't hit 2 years yet because I would imagine they do some kind of celebration. They have not yet. So
right, and you have capitalized on this opportunity for you to move over to Trovo. And you mentioned that a few people that you've known in the Twitch communities kind of took a while for them to gravitate over to Trovo. Including one of them, because it's already enough where like social media, you have to keep up with a lot of streamers or like even content creators or cosplayers or even DJs or whatnot. You have all these other friends or like all these other people that you're trying to have a cohesive unit of like working together, social media platforms. With Twitch, I believe it's already hard enough as it is with the people to have access to it, download the app, go on the website, and then just go on the actual person that you want to catch the stream and view it. With Trovo being relatively new, if you were to mention somebody to the name Trovo, I don't think it's has that much of a recognition quite yet. But you're making it where on your social media platform, especially Instagram and Twitter, you're putting that out there. Hey, you know what? I'm gradually, having more streams on Trovo than on Twitch. Catch me 4 days or 3 days a week over on Trovo, and then maybe once over on Twitch. Does that kind of get what do you call it? Having that balance of like trying to do both at the same, like, you know, at the same time of the week, or eventually you're gonna gravitate over to Trovo. Like, you know what, this is gonna be it. No more Twitch. When is that looking like to be, Nat?
So actually, Raven and I were kind of looking at that. And I say that because I've been the proponent of trying to move over to Trovo sooner. She's like, you might want to stay on Twitch a little bit longer, see if there's any more stragglers that might want to come over. And I've been toying with the idea of making it even less frequent over on Twitch. I do want to keep a presence on Twitch, just because, one, I don't doubt that Trovo will go far. I also just have that, it's what I refer to as my insurance policy. So if Trovo happens to go to the wayside, I can still maintain my account over on Twitch as an affiliate if I need to go back for any reason. I don't expect it, but I like to have that insurance policy because I don't want to make a dive head on and then, you know, have a new mixer a situation come up.
See, and that's the one thing I wanted to ask too, because in the back of your mind, that whole if for those that are not aware, Mixer was a platform competing against like Facebook Gaming, YouTube Gaming, Twitch at a time, and then it just it folded and it's no longer in existence. So in the back of your mind, that has to play a role too of like, you know what, I am taking a bold risk to do it, to move over to Trovo, but then here you are having that you mentioned insurance policy to have Twitch keep going and stuff, because you don't want to lose all those followers. Like you developed a community there, and then just being afraid of losing them little by little going over Trovo must kind of like have that effect of like, you know what, like do you have that feeling of like, hey, do they not really care that much, or is it kind of hard for them to come on by, or what is that runs through your mind with that?
So, I mean, with that, it's one of those where I'm aware it's already hard enough, like you said, to keep up with all the people we want to watch on Twitch. I know adding that one extra app makes it that much harder. But it's one of those where I'm aware of the difficulty, but I also know that there are people out there that do want to watch me, so they will come over and check out the Trovo stream, and they may not make it in all the time, but that's also on Twitch. Like, you know, some people won't make it in. Some people make it in every single day. Some people come in every once in a while because, you know, they have other people they want to watch. They have their own lives. So, it's one of those where I don't take offense to it unless someone's like outright like, you know what, this is really difficult. I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I'm like, okay, like,
right. Because you've been doing really well yourself. I believe you're almost at the time of this recording, you're over going over to 300 followers over on Trovo.
Yes, I am at 250 or 294 followers right now.
Wow. And it's just a short span too. How long have you been streaming on Trovo? And then like at the same time with answering that question, a double whammy, what is the difference between the two companies?
So I have been on Trovo since I think my first stream over there was December 8th.
Of this past year?
This past year of 2021. So I've been over there for about 4 or 5 months. 5 months now.
Wow.
It's crazy to think about that, because obviously it kind of helped that I already had my established base over on Twitch. So that helped build the foundation of what I have over on Trovo, and then the addition of it being less saturated, I think, has helped push me to where I am now. And I've been kind of experimenting with it because it's one of those where it's new. There's some features you're like, oh, that's really cool, and you play around with it like, yeah, I might want to dial back on that.
Okay.
But the difference between the two is, I don't know if other people have noticed this as well. One of the big things that I really liked about Trovo over Twitch is, on Twitch, if you stay silent too long in chat, you're there, but you don't count as a viewer.
Really? What?
So, I've noticed there have been times where I know that there are people in the chat, like they are chatting or they chatted a little bit ago and they said I'm just lurking, and then like my numbers like decrease. Like I know the whole thing is don't look at your numbers, but I like to keep tabs on where everything is. Not because I'm like, oh hey look, I'm talking. It's more like, okay, one, I keep my stream up so I can make sure it's working, so it's not like, oh hey, my stream froze like 20 minutes ago but nobody told me.
Right, that's good to have that. Yeah.
And the other thing it is nice just to kind of see where I am. I don't generally let the numbers influence my day. If I'm having a bad day in a game, it's going to influence my stream more than what's going on.
I
But,
trust me, I believe you on that when it comes to the numbers. Like, you kind of don't want to glance over on the right corner or at the bottom of your screen, just like, it's just hard not to take a glance, because like you might have be on a roll when you open up with 10 people and then it goes down to 8, 7, 6, and you're just like, oh, well, what am I doing? It kind of hurts that self-esteem, I believe, correct?
I mean, sometimes the other part of it is it's also nice to kind of watch and see where the numbers stay. So like if you're sitting there and you have a decent number of people and they stick around, like, okay, so whatever I'm doing right now, they like it. They're here for it. They want to see it.
Right.
So it's also kind of like live analytics to figure out what works and what doesn't. But one of the things that I do like is because, especially during the day, I do watch several people over on Trovo myself.
Right.
Especially since I'm part of a stream team, I kind of watch some of the people on that team.
Okay.
So like when I'm working, I like to have it up because I do listen to them and try to chat every once in a while. And I hate when sometimes I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know if they're actually tracking me on Twitch because I'm listening, working,
multitasking. You're trying not to get fired. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm multitasking because like I do listen, I do like enjoy all that kind of stuff. Like, oh, cool, they're doing that now, and then try to chat whenever I can. But I noticed that the numbers sometimes didn't match. But I also know that sometimes the numbers didn't match because the viewer number and the viewer list doesn't always match up. But what I like is if someone is lurking, for sure that they're counting as a viewer as long as they're not like on their. I did find that if they're on the phone and you leave the app, you don't count. But
okay. So even if you minimize it on the phone, that doesn't count.
No, it pulls you away. Which you know what? I know people are busy, so I'm not worried about that.
No, yeah, for sure. Oh, they have like a split screen. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good to like learn that kind of aspect of things. Because you're like, okay, so if I'm watching somebody and I switch apps, it rightfully so doesn't count them as me as a viewer anymore because I'm not viewing the stream. So, but yeah, the difference is, I mean, there's a lot of similarities between Trovo and Twitch,
right?
Because they have a very similar UI. They have some things that are kind of similar. Of course, it's newer, so there's a lot of the integrations are there right now. But that's a growing pain I'm willing to deal with because like Dixper will eventually be over there. Well, I say this, but eventually when enough people show interest, they'll start bringing it over. That's usually how the things work. Like
that is very true.
They just recently added Streamlabs integration. They're apparently talking about Discord integration. So like how it is with Twitch right now, where it shows that you're live.
Right.
They're gonna be working on integrating that. So it's nice to learn about those integrations. And with the platform, I find it nicer, a little bit easier to use. The mobile app's a little bit wonky because it's still newer.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I've noticed that my chat like glitch, but it's new. They're still working out their bugs. So
yeah. So the whole integration with the whole viewer count, like if you're lurking, it does count as a view. How is it with the payouts? Has it gotten that far quite yet? With like how with the payouts and stuff on there, or is it still kind of fresh new?
Yeah. So the payouts are actually nice. The threshold is $50 instead of $100.
$100 at Twitch. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Trovo, the first tier you can cash out is $50. But it's broken down. So basically, for that over on Trovo, your level kind of dictates how much you can cash out at once. Okay. So as you progress through the levels, obviously you're getting more viewers. Well, let me say that. I say obviously, but you probably don't know that.
No, that's what I'm learning. I'm like, okay, yeah. Mental notes right here. Yes.
Yeah. So on Trovo, they do have like different levels, and the level, like to get to level 1, it's making sure you have 20 followers and streaming. I think it's like 5 days or something like that. Basically, getting you in the door, and that's when you can start monetizing.
Gotcha.
And then at like level 2. You have the view requirement. Level 2 is kind of the equivalent to Twitch affiliate because you get like your bits or not bits, emotes. Now you don't get the rating ability until level 2, probably to make sure that you aren't just trying to throw a stream together to hate raid, kind of like what happens on Twitch, unfortunately.
Right? Yeah, as of late.
Because to get to level 2, you have to have 50 followers and you have to have an effective average viewership of 4. So the effective average viewership could be different than your average viewership because it doesn't count people off of like kind of like Twitch doesn't count raids.
Right.
and it doesn't count. So they have these things called treasure boxes. One of them is a discovery box, and what it does, it puts you out onto the platform where people can come in to win like elixir, which is like the Trovo form of bits. But the discovery box, they've got it to where anybody comes off the discovery box doesn't count as a viewer, to mitigate people doing a kind of like pay to win to get to partner.
Right, yeah.
Because you can get a lot of people coming in and viewing, and then if you do that, you can get to the partner program a lot faster. And then people are like, hey, you're paying to win this.
You're like, yeah.
And so like each level you go up increases your payout total that you can do. So like I'm at level 2 right now.
Okay.
I haven't gotten this far, but if I got up to $2,000, I could cash out up to $2,000 at once.
Oh.
But at that, if you have more than 2,000, you can only cash out 2,000 at a time, but you can cash out more than once.
Right.
And what's also nice is you can cash out once you hit that threshold.
That's very cool.
So once you hit the threshold, which there's various, like there's 50, 80, 100, and various different thresholds that you can hit to cash out. It's
right.
I think it's like a 45-cent fee for cashing out, regardless of where you cash out at.
Oh, every time you have to have that 49-cent fee. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like it's just a one-time fee. It doesn't like it's not like if you cash out 2,000, it's multiplied it also. It's more, they kind of encourage you to build that the money up so you can get more bang for your buck. And then you can also once you cash out, it's pretty much given to you within a couple of days. So it's the cash out system for the payout system is more rapid, and you can do it as soon as you hit 50. You can cash out versus hey, we have to wait till the 15th, because I think all the waiting really happens. During the so when someone subscribes, you have to wait 30 days for it to settle, and then once it settles, then you can cash out. So when you have all the bits, or not bits, the gems, which is the payout currency,
right? That was tongue twister, right?
When you have them, you can just the elixir automatically converts to gems. Subs convert to gems after 30 days, and it's basically one gem is a penny, so 100 gems is $1. And then you can just cash out and have your money in a couple of days, and then you're good to go.
Wow. And it seems like it's very straightforward too, and you're not having to sit around with Twitch I'm gonna give you your money this day and you're gonna like it. It's that's really great for Trovo to actually do that, to actually do it for the streamers, essentially, because this might end up being the financial income for one person. And I believe for you, it could be almost like where later in the future, if miraculously, if for whatever reason it does take off into a higher level for you, can this be for you a business for potentially in the future for full time?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with their partner program. Their partner program is fantastic. They're still fine tuning it, and it's early, so a lot of people are kind of grinding out to get to it. Their partner program is a little bit more defined than Twitch's is. Currently, once you hit 900 watch hours in a month,
okay,
you become T500 bronze, low level. You're one of 400 people, I think. And then once you move up, you go through different tiers. You get paid to be a partner.
Oh snap! Really?
Yes. So bronze tiers, it's I think it's $125 based off the numbers I saw. They have a pool of $50,000 for all the bronze tier, and there's I think 350 or 400 of them.
Okay.
And that's divided over all of them for that 50,000. So you get $125, but still to be a partner and still get $125 is kind of cool deal.
Who's gonna give you $125 out of their pockets?
Right. And then there's various other tiers. I don't have them in front of me at the moment, but each one gets a higher payout.
Sure.
And the master tier, which is the top streamer and the top two streamers, can get up to $5,400 a month.
Wow, that's amazing.
The requirements obviously get significantly harder as you go, and it's all about watch hours in a month. And what's nice is you have to earn your partner, like to make that money. You have to maintain your numbers to keep that. So to get the master tier, you have to maintain the top hours. But what's also nice is you have to maintain the top hours for your program. There's various different programs, so you're not competing with the world. You're competing with the countries in that program. So they have like, I think 4 or 5 different T500 programs for different parts of the world. So to be a partner with them doesn't mean you have to be the top 500 in the world. You just have to be the top 500 in your program.
Yeah. And that's actually a little bit more of a leeway access for one like yourself to actually get to that point. And hopefully in the future, by the end of the year, maybe next year, we'll see how this goes, because it's just barely the beginning over on Trovo for just a few months. And look at you right now. I mean, did you see yourself almost like this, where you're at right now at the state of Trovo, where you're just like, you know what, I made it this far. Oh my gosh. Like I thought I was going to be like 50 followers, or like I was going to get a paycheck out of this. Where is that in your mindset right now for that?
It's kind of a dual mentality about it. Because when I went into it, I had this very clear thought process of, okay, I know that I'm going to be making some changes here. I know that I had to hit certain milestones to be where I want to be. But ultimately, I'm where I'm at now is where I anticipated. I had a different like roadmap in mind, but it was like failed successfully. I mean, I didn't fail, but
no, trial and errors at the sense.
Yes, trial and error. I took a different path, and it went different than I expected, but ended with the same result. I was actually just talking about yesterday how I was like, I feel like I finally hit that point where I kind of hit a turning point that I just never felt like I could get to on Twitch, even with the almost 700 followers and the viewer count. Like I could have 15, 20 people in watching. Okay. And like 2 or 3 people chatting.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And that kind of bothers you in a sense where like sometimes it's just a dead quiet in the chat.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the number to chat or discrepancy. It's just like sometimes when chat goes quiet, I sometimes struggle. Like it's not, it's because like when I try to have conversations, I'm like, I need to do monologue. I can't do conversations. I can't have a like back and forth piece because people weren't necessarily responding.
Right.
But then when chat's really going, it makes it a little bit easier on the grounds of having just conversational pieces as well, because I know one of the things that I need to work on myself is being better at doing the, hey, nobody's chatting right now, I just need to have content and be entertaining. And a lot of times I'm just like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this and check this out. Oh no, there's people.
So the dead air kind of like, it's kind of a bothersome right now at the moment.
It's more I struggle to fill the dead air. I need to do better at coming up with stuff before I go into my streams.
Yeah.
Because if chat dies, I was like, oh hey, it's quiet, and my energy dies out.
A little too quiet here, but
I'm one of those people that when chat starts popping, I start really getting more interactive and more live, because it's like I feel more engaged.
Right.
One of my issues is when chat starts dying down, my brain's just like, hey, we're playing a game.
Right, yeah. But that does that actually get in the way though when it comes to like whatever specific game that you're playing? You're more focused on that, and then like all of a sudden you turn over here like, there's people here. They've been trying to conversate for the past 15-20 minutes.
No, I'm usually pretty good about checking my chat frequently. Sometimes if it's been a little bit, I'll look and start reading. I'm like, no, that message was from like 45 minutes ago. Never mind. I sometimes find myself reading a message like, I just read that like 45 minutes ago. I'm sorry, everybody. But it also has been a little bit easier because I do a lot of my streams. It wasn't by design. It just like I enjoy playing games where I can play games with other people. Most of my streams now are pretty much streaming with other people, so we kind of have built-in conversations that help drive some of the stream as well. Because, like, I play games like Devour, GTFO, DBD. Right. We usually play with other people in all those games.
Well, that latest game that it came out, I think it was a vampire game called Blood Hunt, right? Correct? I don't know if I'm
Blood Hunt.
Okay, gotcha. So that's another one too. Yeah. It's cooperative gaming and stuff. And I got to applaud you on that, because you over here made the jump to Trovo, and like you're already making new friends and like being able to collaborate. That's got to be really, really fun to do, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was fantastic. One of the things that I really liked was when I first went over to the platform, I started just looking for people. I was like, all right, I need to find someone I can latch onto and start interacting with and start building from, because with it being a newer platform, there's a lot of people over there that are trying for the first time, or like, hey, I'm just going to jump over to Trovo.
See, that's I say that all the time too. I go, Trovo. Whenever you come on stream, I'm like, Trovo. I don't know, but yes, tongue twister, but yes.
Some of them come over to Trovo and they're still learning, and like, it's not that I don't want to help them or anything like that. It's just like, when I first jumped in, I was like, I need to find somebody that I can start interacting with that has some level of connection. And now I'm more reaching out to some of the other people, but it's one of those where I was trying to find the person like, all right, who here actually has a stream quality that can help get me in the door before I start diving into the smaller people, because I want to help the smaller people.
Right, Rage. That is such a bold move. Like, you went in there with not knowing anybody. That is insane, dude. I would have been stressed out, and like, my hair would be turned gray already. As it is, like, wow, that is a bold move, and it paid off really well, man.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I went in, didn't know anybody on the platform, and just started looking around, finding people on there, and found a couple of people, and then started expanding a little bit more, and I found several people over there, a couple of people I want to collaborate with. I just haven't had a chance to, because I need to, I need to coordinate, because like, oh, you play Hunt Showdown, and you start around the same time I do. We need to collaborate sometime.
See, and that makes sense for those that are doing duel. Like, if you get to know this person, not just like, you wouldn't want to just jump into right away with somebody that you kind of don't even know, because like, they might end up being something where like they hate some sort of demographic of people, or like they just do is hate stuff, or like, you just never know what their intentions are. But for you to masterfully, like, being able to join someone's community, befriend them, and then like, get to know them and actually become friends with them is something really unique that I believe a lot of people, that when they jump into streaming for the very first time, they kind of have like that. They do it backwards, where like, they'll say that they're live and that's all they're doing, but like, they're not pushing anybody to come over to the stream. And like, in your case, how do you gravitate over people to check out Trovo, to check you out? Like, is it the promo videos that you do, or is it like a tweets, or what is it that you kind of pull people into your streams?
Kind of try to put everything out there, a little bit of everything on social media. I try to put my clips out there with kind of emphasizing that, hey, this is a run Trovo if you want to check it out. Whenever I put YouTube videos up, a lot of it now coming from Trovo, but in the beginning it was kind of like the first couple of videos was kind of mixed between Trovo and Twitch.
Okay.
Where I'm like, hey, if you want to see more of this content, here's the link where you can see it live if you want to see it live. Of course, I post my schedule every week in my Discord, and then also to my social media. It's like, hey guys, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm doing it, come check it out. And then of course, every I try to do it 24 hours beforehand, but sometimes I'm like, oh crap, it's 7:30, I need to get this out there. But at least, it's still like 23 hours. But
right, yeah.
I'm putting my content out there, but I'm also needing to start more adjusting to checking other people's stuff out and kind of connecting with people, because I've put on the kind of the offensive front of, I'm going to push myself out there, put Trovo out there, let people know about Trovo. And I'm kind of at that phase now where it's like, keep doing that, but now I need to also connect with other people and create those connections to be like, hey, by the way, if you want to check my content out, I'm over here, but in a way that's not like in their stream, of course.
Yeah, because you don't want to overstep people's boundaries and like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be live at this time. It's like, that's kind of like those rookie mistakes when you pop on people's chats, or like, and you comment somebody on someone's feed, like, hey, I'm going to be live doing this and stuff. That must be a little bit frustrating too, to kind of balance all that out too, and then still being able to establish like an outside life too, because the fact of the matter is that streaming is not just turning on the camera. I say this all the time. It's not just gaming. It revolves around life outside of streaming. Does that ever get in the way with trying to actually promote yourself and to put out something 24 hours before, a couple hours before the stream starts? How do you actually manage to balance all that, or is it kind of a struggle at the moment?
It's gotten a little bit better. It does help a little bit that I do have somebody who is assisting with my YouTube videos, because those obviously are the biggest ones. Those are the things that take the longest, as creating the YouTube content, because you have to clip it, set everything right, set your audio levels, and just playing around with a couple things I did. Some of them took me like 3 hours, and so adding all the other effects, I can imagine it could take a little bit of time for somebody that is still learning. But I know some of the effects, I'm just like, I will eventually learn that. So for me, it's actually not been too bad, because a lot of what I do is I take a lot of the clips that I either go through and like, all right, I need to remember where that was, so I can go clip that and then make it in a clip and post it somewhere. Or I'm just like, okay, guys, help me out. Let's clip some stuff. I'm also working on trying to set some stuff up for that so I can get clips, because it's always easier, obviously, when you have clips already pre-made. Like, hey, they like that. Let's go ahead and use that. Of course, there are some moments where like, clip that. People are usually on it, but I'm like, clip that because that's awesome.
Right. And then you probably have to do the hard way. You're like, oh, no one did it. Okay, well, let me go ahead and do the time stamp. Like, okay, at this time, I farted on stream. Something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, it's not been too bad. I normally try to find clips real quick, either before I start my day for work or during my lunch break, or if I have a downtime where it's slow and I'm not actively working on something. I think, all right, let's create a clip real quick.
Yeah. Because again, you kind of have to have that outside life too. For people that don't know you outside of streaming, is it more? Do you paint this I guess this persona where like you're live and like you're talkative and stuff? Is it kind of the opposite outside of streaming for you? No, you pretty much, when I go live, I hit that live button, you're pretty much seeing who I am in real life. Now, if we're in a room together, I might not be as I might be a little bit slower to get there, but once I start warming up, I'm the same person you see on stream. Right, yeah, because sometimes a lot of people do have that persona. Like for me, for example, I get this anxiety where like, yeah, I'm SlowpokeFelitos on camera, but with like John Mendes outside of streaming, it can be kind of hard to like keep that momentum going, because you're for me, for example, I'm going, all this energy and stuff like that. Once the actual like momentum dies down, it kind of sinks in. You're just like, man, what just happened? Like 3 hours ago, like I was jumping all over the place, and now I'm just like just mellowed and like maybe a little bit introvert. So the rage we see is what we get in camera and outside the camera, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah. I'm the same on and off camera. I'm dramatic. I'm very energetic. Even when I'm tired, I am energetic. I have crazy stories I tell.
I believe it too, and this is gonna be a crazy story because you're talking about all this energy and whatnot. Something that actually brought you down as of late was catching COVID, and I think that is an interesting story that I want to share with people, because you have a take where not only just yourself that caught it, it's just people in your house that caught it too as well. Is how like did that slow that momentum down with streaming?
So the first time we had COVID, it did impact me where I did have to. I was the first day I was streaming when we had COVID. The first time I was like, I feel kind of weird right now. That weird like onset where you're like, you're about to come down with something, but you're not sure if you're actually coming down with something or if you're just tired. And then the next day I woke up and I was like, oh. I think I streamed the next day, and then the following day I was like, I can't, guys. I gotta get sleep. I'm exhausted. I don't feel good at all. Like by the end of the second day, I was like, I don't know if I can stream tomorrow. I'm feeling exhausted right now. And then the next day, I just felt like I'm gonna put a disclaimer on this, just because I know we both know that it varies from person to person.
Of course.
The next day, on day about 3 or 4, I started feeling the worst I had felt, and it was mostly just like a really, really bad cold.
Okay.
Like I felt miserable. I was like, I can't stream today. And then I think there was a couple days where I took off from streaming. And then one of the days was after like the 3rd or 4th day of COVID. It was like, okay, I don't feel so bad, but I can't taste anything. I can't smell anything. And I realized very quickly it was hard to catch my breath.
Whoa.
So the first time it hit me pretty hard, I was one of those where we had my son at the house. He somehow did not get COVID on that particular occasion.
Okay.
And it was one of those where his mom was asking, would it be good for us to pick him up? Like, as much as I don't want him here because we're sick,
yeah,
it's COVID. This isn't like strep or something like that.
Right,
this was
right.
I understand. Normally that would be correct. But unfortunately, in this case, we weren't sure if he was going to just asymptomatic. We weren't sure what was going on. So, so I had to occasionally help him with getting our dogs and stuff like that. And I came in the house. I'm like, whew, that's kind of hard to catch my breath there. It was interesting because it was one of those where I've always had those moments before, like you're outside running around, or if you're playing basketball or something like that. And after it's like, whew, that's hard to catch my breath. This was worse.
Literally, you take a step. Oh god.
Yeah, because like if I did more than just like not even brisk. Start brisk walk was enough to start being. Whew. It was one of those where it was interesting. It wasn't like so bad where I felt like I needed to go to the hospital, and it was only when I was active. So the good news is I didn't have the serious of like, oh, I can't breathe at all.
Right.
And then the second time was interesting. The second time we had COVID didn't slow me down much. It just felt like a mild cold at worst. But by then I had already been vaccinated. Fully vaccinated and infected once. So,
And by we, when you mentioned, is it just yourself or those around in the house too as well? Or
actually, it was just me and Raven.
Okay.
But we think the second time we do believe my son brought it in, because we didn't think about it. We're like, there's no way he had COVID. One of the things that I did find, we thought, I was just like, man, he sounds congested and he's sleeping a lot. But I was like, but he doesn't seem to have any of the other COVID symptoms. But then that Friday, I started feeling cold-like symptoms. And then by Saturday, I was like, yeah, I think I have COVID again. No, I'm sorry. I thought it was cold. And then Raven got tested because she started feeling bad and she came back positive. So we had it a second time, but it wasn't nearly as bad as the first time.
Okay. You weren't like out of breath. You were able to move around, just a cold.
Yeah, it felt more like a cold that time, and I could taste stuff, so I was happy. For those who don't know, I'm a foodie. I love food. I love the taste of food.
I was gonna bring that up in the bit because when you lost that taste, you're just like, you're probably heartbroken. You're like, man, I can't. No, I can't.
It was bad. It was so bad because I love the taste of food.
Right. And by taste of food, can you paint us I guess a scenario what you would actually bring to the table, like if you were to cook, or like, is it more like you cook or Raven cooks that you want to eat more, or what is it, man?
We both cook, actually.
Sure.
So we both cook. It was one of those where it's actually funny because she'll start cooking and then like halfway through I'm like, next thing she knows, she's like, how did you take over? What happened? I'm like, I like cooking. I'm sorry. I don't know.
The one with the mittens on, you're like, I'm in. Put me in, coach.
And she always laughs because one of the first things I said when we first started talking was, I was like, do you like cooking as a couple? Because I really like cooking and I want someone that I can cook with.
Right. Okay. So between the two, you and Raven, who's more prone to wash the dishes? And not complain, by the way.
She's more prone to do them during cooking. So like when she has something that's like simmering or something like that, she's more prone to clean up as she goes. I'm the one who goes, shit, this sink's full. I should probably do this.
Good call. So going back to actually, for the second time you had COVID, you're still able to eat, you're still able to taste, just had the cold. Then afterwards, did that were you finally like set free from COVID, or did it come back to haunt you again? Or
we so far have been good. I've been joking about the fact. So my dad, the first time everybody had COVID, my parents had COVID too.
Oh,
and so they got after they had COVID, they got vaccinated.
Right.
And then they've gotten the booster. Okay. And my dad likes to go around saying he's bulletproof.
Hey.
So we went to a birthday party, a family birthday party, and I looked at my dad and I said, hey, if I get boosted now, I'm really bulletproof because I've been infected twice plus the booster.
You wouldn't be wrong, man.
I mean, I'm not literally bulletproof. Obviously, the bullets would still hurt, but
yes, metaphorically speaking,
I'd be COVID proof unless.
Well, see, that's great that you finally. I mean, it's unfortunate you having to go through that experience, but like to live to tell the tale, and then like of course that your son being okay, and then Raven being all right, and then your family being okay, and stuff like that. Now that you've come back full head of steam from that and stuff, has that changed the dynamic of like putting priorities in the sense of like have things changed, or you know what, like I'm still gonna keep doing this streaming for the better because like this is what I love to do and this is what I'm gonna continue on doing whether it's a business or not.
Yeah, nothing's changed in that aspect. If anything, it's kind of giving me more drive to try and make it work the way I want it to. Mm-hmm. Because COVID has made it to where it's like at the end of the day, I don't necessarily I have a problem with having a job. I don't mind working. I'm I'm in cybersecurity stuff. I'm going to school for it.
Okay.
I do like access management and things like that for my day job.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love more than anything to make it an actual livelihood, make it content creation, streaming, because it's something I really enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, I would like to be an entertainer, as long as I don't have to actually be in like a movie or something. I couldn't do that.
Could we potentially see you in a commercial or a movie down the road?
We'll see. Maybe.
Because like I guess for me, like I've actually on the side I've been doing it's called Voice 123, where you submit your voice and you could do like it takes where like either commercials or animated voices or like dialogue for a novel or for a story for audiobooks and stuff like that. Almost like using that as almost using streaming as a reference where like it doesn't just has to be this where like you're just gaming, so you could take this to the next level, or like with collabing with actually using it for voice acting or whatnot. What else can you see yourself using this as a streamer yourself to using this to an advantage elsewhere?
Actually, I could see using it as kind of a voice acting thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, funny enough that you mentioned that. It's not a major thing.
No.
And not to dismiss the person that's doing this, but it's not like a major production.
Okay.
But Payday Gaming, the one who has been editing my videos, is going to start doing some of his own little like Fortnite story things, and I'm going to, when he needs my assistance, lend my voice to some of his characters. So
breaking news here. Future voice animated Rage. Oh my goodness, that's awesome, dude.
And so it's one of those where I could see myself doing it. I was nervous doing my own voiceover for my own video that wasn't even live.
like chopping it up and editing, like having to revise it over and over. Because guys, editing is a mother, because having to replay videos or clips over and over in the loops, and is the audio okay? Do I have to add a sound bit? Is it too low? Do I have to have music in there? It's a lot of it, right?
Oh yeah. So my last YouTube video, the Midnight Ghost Hunt. What is Midnight Ghost Hunt is the name of the video.
Okay.
In that video, I actually downloaded an audio software for the first time to actually record a voiceover.
Oh, nice.
Because originally I just made it like gameplay footage with music, and then Raven was like, you might want to do like a voiceover, this is new game, like give an explanation of what the game is. Like, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I did a quick recording of about 20 minutes and I put it over it, and she's like, you don't sound very confident in that, you might want to put some more time into it. I was like, I just gotta get it done.
You're like, I thought it was good.
Oh, I knew it was bad.
Oh, no.
I was just trying to get it done, because it was like a one take. Like I pretty much did it all in one take, and I sat there and just tried to talk the whole time. She's like, you don't have to talk the whole time. Just have the music playing so that there's something happening in the background, and just give a description of the game. I was like, that's a good idea.
Right.
I was still nervous. Like was just used it like creating the audio to slap over a video that hadn't even been posted yet. I was like. I was like, does this sound good? Do I sound okay? And she was like, there's a couple parts we stuttered at the end. I was like, I'm just leaving it because it kind of works with how I talk.
Right, yeah. And then she's over here like, feeding you at least not just like, any criticism is good criticism. So like, if it's bad or good, helping you out in that aspect has what do you call it? Done wonders for you, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, especially with the creation of any of my YouTube videos I make, because I was like, hey, check this out, what do you think? How did I do? Because I'm new to editing stuff, I'm kind of learning as I go, and so like my next video that drops is going to be the next couple of videos will be one that's been created by Payday, so I'm just like, okay, I can take a breather now. Because it is nice to have somebody that can help you out with that kind of stuff, because like you said, it would be a whole different world for me to try to build up my YouTube and create my YouTube videos and go to school and go to work and, family life.
Family life, because that's family does come first in a sense, with all the aspect of like trying to balance all that out. And you do set that really great example. But having Raven as basically your rock, your in between neck and neck, you know what I mean? Like your ride or die. We've mentioned her a few times here and there. I would love to talk more about her, if you don't mind, where
sure.
I've seen her in chat. She's very lovely to people that come on into the chat. How can we find her in the chat? And then like from that aspect, like build us up to where we're at today. how did you guys end up meeting? And then like, I guess there's a ring involved and there's some stuff around there.
Yeah. So funny. It's funny how we met. The reason why I say it's funny is for the longest time I was one of those people that was a proponent against online dating. I was like, it's dumb. I don't know why people do that. I don't understand it. But after the previous relationship, after I broke up with the previous person,
sure. Okay.
I was sitting there and I was thinking about, I'm not very outgoing. I'm an introvert. I can't just walk up to people and say hi. I can't go to a bar and chat someone up. I'm just the guy that sits there like, I can't do this.
You'll be the guy in the bar just with their phone, like, okay.
I'm with my phone, having a drink, eating some food, like, oh, game's on, let's watch that.
Right.
I've gotten better. I'm a little bit better about it because, I spend more time talking and it's made me more comfortable with talking to other people. I'm still an introvert. That doesn't change.
Sure.
So I started going on to, I think it was originally Plenty of Fish or something like that. And one of my coworkers at the time was like, hey, check out OkCupid. It's a little bit more dating oriented and less hookup oriented.
Oh, that's what Plenty of Fish was at the time?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
At least I think so. I don't know. I was just like, I don't know the online dating scene. I'm just going to start selecting out. I just knew to avoid Tinder.
At all costs. Avoid it at all costs. Coming back now.
So I created an OkCupid profile. I was looking through it, and I was like, okay, online dating's not bad. You get a brief overview of the person, so you at least have an idea of what you're about to get into.
Right.
And then you can start chatting with them. And so I sent her a message.
Okay.
My opening line was, I found a part of her profile. I was like, all right, I'm going to take this part and play with it. I was like, I too am a strong, independent woman. Oh, wait, no.
What? That was your breaking the ice moment?
Yes.
Nice.
And she said, yes, that was my very first line. I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm a man. What am I talking about? And then I went through a detailed description about myself. And
that you were a man and all that kind of stuff. And
well, I mean, I think it was kind of clear. I
don't know, man.
But so I sent a message to her, and she responded, and we chatted back and forth, and then she was like, hey, this app tears up my phone's battery. Do you want to text? I'm like, sure. So we started texting, and I think it was a couple weeks later.
Right.
We ended up going out on our first date. We went to a restaurant. We were there for 4 hours. Didn't realize it was 4 hours. We were just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden the waitress came up to us and said, is there anything else you need? And we're like, no, we're okay. I was like, all right, we just want to make sure because we don't have any mattresses or beds here. And we're like, what is she talking about? It was almost closing time. We had been there for 4 hours, didn't realize how long we'd been there. So we're like, oh. So and then after that we started seeing each other bi-weekly.
Okay.
Because I had my son every other week.
Right.
And then I was dropping him off on Sunday, so we started seeing each other every week. Mm-hmm. And then we just slowly, progressively started talking more and more, hanging out more and more. And we had a disastrous date where I was like, will you be my girlfriend? She was like, sure. we had a disastrous date where we were supposed to be making pizza at home at my house.
Okay,
and,
so far so good. So far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. It sounds like it's a good start. And at the time I had a roommate, and they're like, hey, I need you to. My friend and I are going to the gym. I need you to watch her baby while we're at the gym. But this was like as Raven was on the way to the house.
The roommate's asking you to watch the baby.
They knew about the date.
Okay.
And so they're like, okay, we'll be gone for an hour. We'll be back. 2 hours later, 3 hours later, somewhere around there. It was longer than they said. So we ordered pizza in, and at the time she's like, I don't like kids, but I'm already on my way. So, and so she said yes, and then she later told me recently the reason why she said yes was because I had asked her 2 days before my birthday, and she felt bad if she said no. But she also said she was actually interested. So I don't want to brush it off. She was interested and wanted to pursue it, but she was also like, yeah, his birthday's in 2 days. I'd feel bad saying no.
Hey, it was a gamble, and she took it, and she won the lottery.
Exactly. And then actually, shortly after we started talking, she also told me that I got lucky on the grounds of she was actually ready to uninstall the app when I sent my message.
Oh.
So I sent my message just in time because that day she was ready to uninstall it because she had got a bunch of flops prior to that.
Oh man, such a shame.
So it's like, whew. It's like I shot my shot at the right time.
And it paid off. And in one aspect, did she know that you were a gamer, or is she kind of a gamer too as well? And you guys kind of clicked that way, or what were the common interests with that?
So she knew I told her that I liked playing games. At the time, I didn't play as much because I was spending time talking to her, and I was getting back into the playing video games because I didn't play a lot for a while.
Yeah.
And a lot of the common I mean, we just kind of had a lot of similar personality traits. Enough different though, where we weren't, like butting heads because we're like the same person.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those where first of all, I came in, I was very, very open. My roommate was like, "Are you sure you want to say that?" I'm like, I don't want to be that person that plays games. I'm going to put all potential red flags out there.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of them come off as a red flag, and she's like, "Nope, I'm out," I don't have to worry about waiting 6 months.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Wait a minute."
You didn't tell me about this.
So we were like very open with each other, and I was very, very open. I gave her everything. Like, here's a rundown of things that I want to make sure you're okay with, so we can just we can get this out of the way, so that way we're not playing games with each other. And we're like,
right.
This isn't going to work. We're almost at, and now we're almost, it's almost been 5 years. So
5 years, wow! Congratulations, man. Oh, actually, you know what? I'll hold up that congratulations because there is a ring involved, correct? And I want to know how that happened, man. And that is one of the questions I was asked by her before we started the stream or the recordings here, that she wanted you to tell the story of how you proposed. So you're getting that right here.
Oh, I bet she does want me to tell the story because the story is it's pretty funny.
Right.
I mean, it starts funny, but it was a moment. So it was I had gotten the ring, and I had hidden it in our room where she wouldn't normally look.
Okay.
And it was just a spur of the moment. I had been trying to plan it with her best friend to help me out to try to line everything up. And every time we try to line something up, she was like, I was always freaking out. I was like, I think she knows. It's like, I don't know. She might know. I don't know. So we're like both freaking out, trying to make sure that this doesn't go wrong. And the second to last attempt was going to be at they have what's called Horror Hound out here.
Okay.
And one of her favorite horror actors was going to be there.
Which was?
Robert Englund.
You got to see Robert Englund?
We did not get to because it was at the beginning of COVID, so they canceled it.
Oh, that's got to be heartbreaking, man.
So that's what sucked was on top of it.
Right.
I was like, oh no, because they canceled it. I was like, I was going to try to make sure we had the money set aside to be able to do the meet and greet, figure out a way to be able to like coordinate with their team to see if I could do this.
That would have been awesome.
But then it got canceled.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was like, I don't know when we're going to be able to do this. There's nothing else coming up and everything's locking down. Mm-hmm. And then one day I just looked out. I went outside in the backyard and I looked up. I was like, that's a full moon. It's a super moon. It was during the super full moon.
Okay.
And she came outside and we're standing there. And I was like, I got to go to the bathroom real quick. And I didn't have to use the bathroom. I was going to sneak into the house real quick and grab the
nice save.
the ring.
Nice save. Okay.
And then she was like, I need to use the bathroom too. I was like, oh.
She has a ring too?
So she went to the bathroom like, oh no, I can't have her in the house while I do this because she's going to be like, why are you in the room?
Yeah.
So I was like, she came out of the bathroom. I was like, hey, do you want to go back outside? I'll be out there in a minute. I can use the bathroom real quick. She's like, okay. Mm-hmm. So she went outside and I was surprised it worked. I was surprised she went back outside, but it was a nice night. And the moon was down.
The super moon, of course. It looked beautiful. It's a one-time thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was nice. It was beautiful outside, and we both love the night sky. And finally, I snuck into the bedroom. Actually, I poked my head out. I'm like, okay, did she go outside? Okay, she did. So I grabbed the ring. I went outside, and I put the ring in my pocket and went out there. And she went to she went in to grab my hand, but my hand was in my pocket, and I started backing up. And she's like, "What's wrong? Why are you backing away?" I was trying to get the ring out so she wouldn't see it or feel it. So I was like, I had the case in my pocket. I'm like, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And then suddenly I just got down on one knee and I was like, "Will you marry me?" And she was also mad later on. She's like, I didn't have my nails done. It was dark. We didn't get pictures. But she also loved it because it was under the full moon.
Yeah. So some deduction points. The nails, But hey, and then you got a super moon to, recover all the done damage. But that's awesome.
Yeah, she was actually, funny enough. It's funny we're doing this today. It was 2 years ago today I proposed to her.
No way.
It was early in the morning on April 8th.
Oh, man. Man, gonna have me a happy tear right now, man. Come on now. And now, some slowly but surely rapid fire questions. Can I get a howl if you're ready for the slowly but surely rapid fire questions?
Oh.
That'll do it. What is to you the most underrated horror game you've ever played?
I don't know if it's underrated. I don't know if a lot of people have heard of it. I actually, one of the games I played was called Anna.
Okay.
And it's a puzzle horror game. It's an older game. Mm-hmm. And it was more terrifying than I anticipated.
What made it terrifying?
Just the suspense they create and the jump scares. Like, the game progressively gets more horrifying. Like, it starts out picturesque. You're outside this house and everything. There's like a pasture. It's pleasant looking. And as you make your way through the house gets worse. Oh. The house gets worse. You start discovering things. You start seeing things that are like, it's just like, it's subtly at first. At first, it's like, hey, that wasn't there before. And then eventually, like, hey, there's like a heart on the table.
What the heck?
I don't remember. There was something where you had to like throw a heart into an actual like fire.
Huh.
And as the game progresses, it gets spookier and spookier. I didn't finish the game properly.
Right.
There are multiple different endings. So I was like, I've been doing this for 4 hours. It's late. I need to stop. So I need to go revisit that one. But I thought it's a game that's worth checking out.
Between you and your fiance, who snores the loudest?
I have no idea. That's a good question. The reason why I say that is because obviously I can't hear myself snore.
Okay.
But apparently I do make demon-esque sounds when my allergies flare up. I do this thing every once in a while when my throat starts itching where I'm like and apparently I do that in my sleep too.
All right, you take the crown. What is the most delicious meal you've ever eaten on stream?
I mean I have eaten a steak on stream before.
You had like really the napkin and everything too. You're like, fine wine and dining.
Oh no, why would I do that? I don't care about it.
Oh, you said bare hand. Welcome to the stream, everybody.
I'll chop it up, but I don't have a nap. It's just like,
What is your worst experience you've had with someone in chat?
I think my worst one was why at one point I went on follower only chat for a couple of weeks on Twitch. I was playing Dead by Daylight. Mm-hmm. Unsurprising, there was a long stretch where that's all I played.
Okay.
And I had TTV in my name. One of the survivors on our team actually, that was random. Okay. They pulled the stream up apparently at the start, and we were like, "What is this guy doing? Why are they doing this?" Because like they let us die on hook. It was just they were basically going out of their way to cause us issues. And then we were watching, and then they started teabagging the exit gate, and then they popped into my chat and said, "Hey, what do you think of my teabagging?" I'm like, "You do know I'm a survivor, right? Like, I don't understand." They heard us complaining about what they were doing, and they were trolling me. And then they're like, "Hey, by the way, you should check out my profile." And then they sent a link into my chat. Yeah.
What?
Yes.
In the middle of your stream?
In the middle of my stream. We got it scored out pretty fast. It was they were banned, and but it was in the middle of my stream.
Oh my god! Do you still remember that moment of how you felt, or like did you feel like you're out of your control or something, or like you kind of had it narrowed it, like held it down?
It was kind of like I came in with like a what? Why would you do that? Like, I don't understand. We did get it blocked pretty quick, so that it wasn't there very long. That's why wherever I go, links are blocked without special permissions.
I'm not a big fan of A Nightmare Before Christmas. I see you have, and I saw the eyes right here. What can you do to convince me to rewatch it? I haven't watched it since what was it? 2004, I believe. So if you can convince me, give me a couple things why I should be rewatching it Nightmare Before Christmas, or anybody else that has that same feeling of like, it's overrated, or like it's not, it's whatever.
That hurts me. That hurts me.
I didn't mean to. I just noticed it. I was like behind you, like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull the strings.
Yes, Jack Ellington. Yeah. Okay. So for one, this is the most important. It doubles as a Christmas and Halloween movie. And because it would make me feel better if you watched it.
I'll do it for you, Rage. I'll do it for you. Do you have a favorite Spanish word?
I'll be honest. I took Spanish in high school and remember very little.
Do you remember one word that you can say, or off the top of your head?
Uno.
Just like this. That's like this recording. It's just uno take. To you, what is an underrated movie?
So there is a movie that we had discovered on, I don't know if you heard of the app Shudder. It's a horror shows and movies and stuff.
Horror version of Netflix.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The movie was called Hell House, LLC.
Okay.
It had bad reviews. Mm-hmm. People are like, this movie sucks, and I watched it, and it's actually really good. The sequels suck, which is not surprising, but the original was actually really good. It was really good found footage horror movie taking place. Hell House is basically a fake haunted attraction gone wrong.
Okay.
So it was one of the few movies where I saw people. I've even heard people say that movie was pretty bad. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It was fantastic. It's found footage. Like, it looked like found footage.
Last question here for the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Slowly but surely, rapid fire questions. Rage, what is to you the best movie you have ever seen?
Gran Torino.
Good answer. Hardly anybody says that nowadays, but care to explain?
Gran Torino. That is one of the first time I watched that movie, I was like, wasn't sure I was gonna like it.
The trailer didn't sell it to you, or like just the way it was filmed, or
I never actually watched the trailer. I didn't really ever watch any Clint Eastwood movies either.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, we'll watch this. It looks cool enough. I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the character development, just the story, the way it was shot. It was just such a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so fantastic to watch. I was like, okay, not only do I like this movie, I love this movie, and why is it making me cry?
Pulled your heartstrings, huh? Awesome.
Yes.
As we're winding down on the premiere episode for season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show, 15 episodes. RagefulRiot, I gotta ask you before we start wrapping things up, Wolfpack, your community here, did you initially have it to where it's gonna revolve with any type, like with wolves, or like how did that come about? And then like to integrate it to a community, do you have that already established, or is this like it's still on its way to building something?
So I've always had a fascination with wolves. Mm-hmm. So I've had people come at me with like, well, you're RagefulRiot. Why does it have to be a wolf? It's like, well, I like wolves. What's great about RagefulRiot is you can make it whatever you want to. There's no connections to anything. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, well, we'll start calling it my wolf pack. And so I created the Discord server. I was just like, all right, well, every streamer has a Discord server. I need to make one. We're gonna call it the wolf pack because Rachel's wolf pack. Let's go. And currently it is we're kind of in an in-between stage. We do have a group of people that come in and chat. There's a lot of people. There's like 83 people in my Discord. I'm sorry, some of those are bots. I had to measure that out.
Okay.
But I do have like a core group of people that come chat. They post their stuff. Mm-hmm. When I say, hey guys, let's help this person out, I see them popping in chat over on that stream. So I do have like a core group built where we interact, we chat, we hang out. A lot of times when I'm playing games with people, it's people from the community. So
Yeah.
I did make a change to the group name though, because I realized Wolfpack is a little generic.
True. And if a fun fact, it is actually trademarked by the World Wrestling Entertainment. So
that is good to know. Glad I changed it.
Yes. They have a hand gesture and everything too. So it'll be kind of difficult in case you end up, blowing up and becoming already a partner with Trovo. They're probably gonna come after you with that sort of stuff. So heads up on that.
That's good to know. Well, I've already changed it.
So what have you changed it to now?
I've changed it to, this was actually Raven had an idea and I kind of tweaked it a little bit. She was like, what about, I think she said Wolf Rioters. Kind of playing off my name.
Okay.
And I was like, actually, here we go. How about Rioting Wolves?
Ooh, me gusta.
So we are now, the community is now the Rioting Wolves, of course, playing off Rageful Riot.
Almost paying homage to it. So that's awesome.
And because I was like, I want to do something with wolves. Originally, I went with one. It was like Wolves Kindred. And I was like, and then Ray was like, that doesn't roll off the tongue very well. And like, hello, Wolves Kindred. I'm like, you're right. But Rioting Wolves and Welcome to the Riot does.
That does fluently, yes.
So yes, we are now the Rioting Wolves. An official logo. It's a wolf head with claw marks behind it.
Okay.
With Rioting Wolves underneath it.
Okay.
I am going to be getting that commissioned. I just threw that together in Canva real quick. Like, let's create something real quick so I can put it up there so people can see it. And
this is the beta that we're looking at right now. Okay.
Yes, that is correct. That's just the beta. I am going to be commissioning something to be done because I'm also going to create it into a merch piece as well.
Awesome.
So we'll have some Rageful Riot stuff and also the Rageful's Rioting Wolves.
There you go.
As well at some point.
That's pretty cool, man. Do you ever feel that if it's gotten to that point where like perhaps people that either leave your Discord or like that are not buying your merchandise, do you ever feel like that gets to you at times? You're just like, you know what? I don't think I have it in me where like I should be putting out this merch or making a Discord and stuff like that. Or have that already established as it is right now?
It doesn't faze me when people leave the Discord. It doesn't faze me. I have the merch out there just to have it out there, so that way I don't have to like start building things up later. It's already there and ready as I progress and people start looking into it. It and with very little being precious around, it doesn't bother me because I'm like, hey, this stuff is out there. The Discord, it's gonna grow. If people leave, they didn't want to be here. It's okay.
Yeah,
I'm not their cup of tea. That's all fine. That's all fine.
No, see, and that's good because that can really affect someone's like mental health in an aspect of like, you know what, I don't feel like I'm worthy or good enough and stuff. For you, like, does that really contribute to where for you it's more of an easier way to like, control that mental health aspect and not to put that out there when you have a funk, or do you implement that and make it okay for people like, you know what, like I might be somewhere out there, but once I'm here now, I'm devoted to this 110%.
I mean, it's something that I'm always devoted to. It doesn't. It's not something where I'm like, all right, I need to look at it like this. It's just something where that's how I look at it. I just look at things like, oh, someone left the Discord. Sucks for them.
Good outlook. Okay.
Sucks for them. They might be back. They may not be back. We'll never know. It could be like, oh, he's on Twitch. They may not pay attention and not know I'm on Trovo. That might be why. I don't know. It's just something that I've never really let bother me because at the end of the day, people come and go.
That's true.
And there's only so much you can do. I mean, now the one number that does kind of impact me sometimes is watching like follower count drop because unfortunately I'm at that level where you can see the numbers change. But that hasn't been as bad as it used to, especially with Trovo. On Trovo, I see the numbers go down. Like, okay, I did this treasure box that was a discovery box, got a lot of follows off that. Most of those that are leaving are probably from that because they were, what we call treasure hunters looking for the elixir, and that's it. And then they're like, oh, he's not doing boxes anymore. Pfft, I don't want to follow him anymore.
So it's a blessing and a curse for those treasure boxes over on Trovo then.
Yes. But it's one of those where when I'm trying to hit a goal, sometimes I'm like, oh, come on, really? 2 of you left. Can you just wait till I hit 300? But on the other side of the note, I'm just like, well, I want them to fall off because I want the people who actually want to come here to watch me and hang out. to come over. So
last few questions here for you. If you want to give someone that is discouraged and like wanting to stop streaming for whatever reason that's probably small, especially with your years of experience being a streamer, give me at least three advices top three in the top of your head where you can give somebody on whether to continue on with their journey streaming, either on Twitch, Trovo, or wherever else they can find.
Make sure you're doing something that you love to do. Don't do something just because you think it's going to bring in the numbers. Because I know a lot of people, I think, have those issues where they are like, well, this is a popular game right now. This will bring me numbers. And when it doesn't, like, what am I doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You're not enjoying yourself. You need to enjoy what you're doing. And that becomes contagious.
Mm-hmm.
2, don't measure your worth in your perceived growth. As we were just talking about, seeing those numbers drop can be disheartening. But if you know you have something to offer, or even think you have something to offer, don't let that discourage you. Because obviously, if someone's discouraged and they're thinking about leaving, they may not feel like they have something to offer, but you do.
Right.
And 3rd is just being aware there will, like you said, there's going to be the highs and lows. You're going to have those days where you're like, oh my God, this is the best stream I've ever had. You're going to have days like, where is everybody? Why is nobody here? Just know that growth is not linear. It is very much, it's got its highs, its lows, its dips, its valleys. It's something where if you're in a funk, if it's something where you're not seeing growth, reassess. Where might you be struggling? There could be something, or have somebody help you. Like, hey, where do you think I can improve to grow? Because ultimately, if you're banging your head against the wall, like, I don't understand what's happening, I can't make any change, or I'm not growing. Well, something you need to look at something and be like, all right, what's one thing I can change today to make the stream more interactive, or what can I do today? What's something that I might be lacking when I watch my video over again? Like, oh, hey, I didn't talk for like 45 minutes. No wonder nobody stuck around.
Right. And then from your own personal experiences, you're using that into your arsenal and merging it to something where you're going to improve on that. And the future is bright for you, RagefulRiot. Like, Rage, I'm so proud of you for taking that leap. And like, trust me, it took me a while to actually, make an account on Trovo and like being able to follow you. And I want to almost apologize to you and not jumping into it further, only because you have made such a wonderful impact in my life. Not only because you're a friend of mine, like outside of streaming too as well. Being able to connect with you and to make, sometimes we make some conversations that are only point A and B, and you've made such a like taking time out of your day to do that, because you've somewhat have been into that path of like, you're just not really sure what's going to happen in the future, but you reassured me. And to those here today watching this episode for the first episode for season 3, I am honored to have you here and consider you a friend, and I wish you nothing but success in the future for you and Trovo, and fully making it to Trovo, where those that are inspired to either make the transition over to Trovo, one thing to look forward to, that if they're wanting to make the jump.
One of the things to look forward to is a lot of the people over there are very into supporting other people. The English section it's smaller because there is a lot of foreign. There's a lot more foreign groups over there than there are on the English side. So you're not going to necessarily get as many people right away, but it is growing, and it's an opportunity that you can grow with. Because if you're one of the streamers that's more noticed, you're going to be one of those people that will start seeing the new people come in like, hey, that person's got a lot of viewers. Let's go find out what's up with that.
Very true.
And there's just it's something where if you look at the fact that it's smaller, and you take that opportunity and look at the bigger picture of a smaller platform that's growing, means there's opportunities that haven't been captured yet. Like some games that are over there. Yeah, you've got your Call of Duties and stuff like that, but some games that are a little bit more popular on Twitch may not be really active on Trovo, and it's a chance to really connect and make a connection between Trovo and that gaming company, and creating opportunities that may not be as prominent over on Twitch because there's fewer people over on Trovo.
And you capitalizing on that opportunity has paid off. So, RagefulRiot,
Yes.
I would love to take this moment for you to put yourself out there, reassure the House of Slowpokes and those that are new watching the episode of Season 3 of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show to let them know who you are, where they can find you, and where you are going to be mostly streaming at now. RagefulRiot, the floor is yours.
I am RagefulRiot. I stream a lot of horror stuff, and well, you might be seeing some Fortnite here soon. And there might be a special guest with that too. I stream over on Trovo most of the time. I will probably be doing a lot less on Twitch, a lot more over on Trovo. That's trovo.live/RagefulRiot, where I will be doing a lot of my horror streams and stuff like that. And Fortnite Saturdays will be my shooters days.
The pew-pews.
My pew-pew days. Pew-pew. Because there's various different games that are coming out or already out that I want to play. And Saturday's my more open day.
Right.
And you can find all my clips and funny moments and schedules over on my socials on Brain's Not Working, Instagram, Twitter, and some funny, educational, and more funny for now, but some educational videos coming up on my YouTube as well, over on YouTube, or not YouTube Gaming, RagefulRiot Gaming, which once I hit 100 subs, we'll switch over to RagefulRiot Gaming versus the long string of characters.
Right on, man. Well, that's going to do it for us here in the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. I have been SlowpokeFelitos. I've been your host. I am a part-time streamer, part-time alcoholic, a seasonal Catholic, an official Lego builder license holder, and the host of the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Thank you so much, RagefulRiot, for opening up and kicking the foot from Trovo's door onto Season 3 here on the Monday Nyquil Podcast Show. Once again, RagefulRiot, thank you for taking the time to stop on by here in the House of Slowpokes. And, dude, congratulations once again. Dude, the road for you on Trovo is looking pretty bright for you, man. So rooting for you, friendo.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll catch you guys in the next episode, guys. See you guys later. Adios, everybody.